Edward Joseph Cannon. I am an SES with the Navy. I would say, though, what certainly sticks out with me is maybe the highlight of my career. Being a civilian, even though I spent a total of 10 years overseas, never was really part of the operational Navy. But after I first became an SES, I was invited to go visit actually one of our employees. We have civilians that are on our aircraft carriers. We call them fit bosses and fun bosses. As I know, people watching this will know, on an aircraft carrier that you have the air boss and others are identified as the boss. And so we decided that our fitness specialists would be called fit bosses and our recreation specialists would be rec boss. And so as part of my duty, I have about 30 fit and fun bosses on some of the ships. So I was invited to land on the USS Harry S. Truman. So I left out of Bahrain, took a cod, and I'd never been on a cod before, and we flew out of Bahrain and landed on the Truman. Got the whole effect of tailhook, and that was truly exciting. Yeah, when I first landed, first I was awestruck. I had been on a carrier before, but never landed on one like that. And so the first thing that hit me was just, again, the massiveness of that compared to the cod landing there. And then the work that the crew does just to get ready for the next landing, get ready for their operations. And then there was probably something I'd never really felt before, and that was the hair was sticking up on my arms because it was me that they actually greeted as I got there, and I've never had that experience quite like that. Again, not being in the military, it's obviously not quite the same experience, but when I landed there and I was treated like a VIP, it was something very special, and I really was honored and still cherish that moment. And then being catapulted off of there afterwards, I would say, was even more of a highlight. But the commanding officer at the time, and what a gentleman, he let me stay in his ship cabin, his captain's cabin, overnight. So I got the full VIP treatment of sleeping in the skipper's cabin and also getting a full tour. The food was fantastic. Folks in the Navy already know this. Navy culinary specialists, or they used to be called mess specialists, are considered some of the best cooks of all the services for sure, and some of the best in the world. I think the Navy really focuses on training for our culinary specialists. So the food was fantastic. I do know for a fact eating in the wardroom was probably one step up from the rest of the galley, so I did get a very special meal. But then the next day I did also eat in the galley with the rest of the troops, and that meal honestly was just as good. It just wasn't quite as fancy as far as the setup, but the food itself, the exact same quality. And I know they were excited. They, being the culinary specialists, were excited to put on a meal as well for visitors, and I just happened to be the visitor that day, but they do a fantastic job. The captain's quarters, certainly wouldn't say it's ready for the next Love Boat show. The captain also has to make sure that that he isn't living in a palatial palace either. So it was just well kept, very tidy, obviously very clean, and just a nice place. But I wouldn't, certainly wouldn't call it palatial. And I know no commanding officer would want to have a palatial office as the rest of their or place to sleep. But it was quite comfortable, and definitely treated me like a rock star. Getting to watch night operations, which is just a fantastic experience, and to see the ultimate and awesome power of our U.S. Navy aircraft carriers and what they do on a regular basis was just fantastic. But I got a chance to meet with the crew, eat with the crew, got to see what our Navy Installations Command employees do on the ship, our fit and fun bosses. And see some of the unique characteristics of that ship in particular. So I would say that's my highlight of a crew, if you will, even though I was not supporting them directly at the time. Was just a guest on their ship, and certainly a very welcome guest. It's another area that I'm beaming with pride because I have direct input into it. First thing is, guys on the ships, gals on the ships love watching movies, and I oversee the Navy Motion Picture Service, which is part of our quality of life package. So the first thing you notice is that announcements go over the loudspeaker, letting people know what movie is going to be played that day, night, afternoon. Multiple screens, multiple TVs, so they can have different shows going on. But pretty much every night, unless there's something that precludes them from doing that, there will be movies being played. Also, always board games, different activities going on. Basketballs, backboards are pulled out, so the troops are out there playing 3-on-3 or just shooting with each other. One of the real interesting things, and again another thing that an initiative that our program started many years ago now, but we actually have Starbucks on some of our aircraft carriers, and through Navy MWR we contracted with Starbucks, bought the licensing agreements, and so here you have, and this just really struck me. I had talked to people about it, I'd seen pictures, but when you see it in real life, over here in the galley we have 24/7 free coffee. You can just grab coffee anytime you want it, but yet the troops are still lining up to buy Starbucks on the ship and getting their Frappuccino or whatever else, and then that money goes back into the rec fund for the ship. So they're able to then use that funds that they generate to have additional trips, tours, events off the ship as well as on the ship. Fitness is big time on the ship, so at any one time you'll see some fitness classes going on, as well as the main fitness center, and then there'll be treadmills tucked off to the side, bikes tucked anywhere you can find space that isn't going to be in the way or dangerous. They'll find a place for those treadmills, and so guys are always working out. So just a myriad of activity going on all the time in between the real work that they're doing. So as everyone in the military knows, your job's 24/7, so at any one time someone's working, someone else is recreating, but it's a living, breathing city there of upwards to 5,000 people on any day doing all kinds of different activities.